Good morning, beautiful humans. Let's eat some breakfast together, okay? Good morning. I hope your day is going well. Thanks for being here. Ugh. Today, I've got my breakfast. Now, don't judge me on my breakfast, okay? I have to eat super strict because of my joints, because I have really bad rheumatoid arthritis, so I have to eat extremely sick. So that's why when you hear me talk about like cheat days and stuff like that, those are days that I allot where I can eat things that I enjoy, like coffee, fast food. But other than that, this is what I eat for my day. So this is my breakfast. Sometimes I'll have one avocado, some yogurt, and then I have a spoonful of honey fermented garlic, which is it's in the kitchen. But that's more of medicinal. So is this. I can't say I particularly enjoy the plain Greek yogurt, but it really helps my body. So this is what I eat for breakfast. And then sometimes I eat like chorizo and eggs and whatnot, but I have plain Greek yogurt. Cheers for breakfast. Now, I'll be honest, I don't breathe through my nose when I eat this because I don't like it. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, well, why don't you sweeten it, blah, blah. Well, I could sweeten it with stevia, but it's not the sweetness or lack thereof that I don't like. It's the flavor of it. Ugh. So I don't really breathe through my nose when I eat this. But I eat 2 to 3 big spoonfuls of yogurt every morning. This is really good for your gut. So some people... And I'll be sharing my protocols, like how I'm getting into remission. This is part of it. But there's certain bacteria in the gut that, this is so funny. Beef has a little snot driplet. I always think it's so funny when dogs have a runny nose like that sometimes. It's so cute, honestly. But for autoimmune illnesses like mine, my theory is that it's a microbial fungal imbalance, and your system's out of balance, your system's out of whack, and small things like that jack up cortisol, send all this stress, like system response. Oh, we need to attack. And depending what you have, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, like if it's fibro, then it'll attack your nerves and whatever, the skin, whatever's in pain. For rheumatoid arthritis, it'll attack the joints, lungs, eyes, whatever it feels like. But the base of the attack is the microbial or fungal imbalance. And that usually happens because a lot of us have sluggish livers without even realizing it. And we expect to be on like dialysis door, essentially, to have any issues with our liver. Now, this is just my personal beliefs. There's a lot of science to this, but nobody really believes that that's where autoimmune illnesses, like, it's not where they come from. They're genetic, but they can be developed. But I think in both cases, it's an imbalance that can happen in utero and can happen through life. And with stress and everything, it just creates like a systemic stress response. And so your body, like if your gut, it's usually tied to gut issues because your vagus nerve runs from your brain to your gut. And if your gut is inflamed, then your vagus nerve starts getting inflamed. And then your mind starts getting inflamed. And then you get like high cortisol because you're stressed, you're moody. And so now you have high cortisol and you're eating a lot of junk food. You're stressed out, you're drinking a lot of energy drinks, not drinking enough water, not moving enough that you should be. And then, you find yourself, having high cortisol, and that, makes your liver run a little slower too. And then you eat more junk food because you're craving it, and that puts more stress on your gut that's already inflamed, which leads to the inflammation of the vagus nerve, which sends that whole loop again. And then when you're on top of that, your system's already in an inflammatory state, and then you're eating foods that are inflammatory. So this is like my gut healing thing. Like this and the avocado has helped me heal my gut. and make things more regular for me, and so that I'm not like bloated, so that I don't have like these cortisol spikes, so that I'm not dealing with like hormone imbalance and stuff like that. And once you start eating on a normal level like that, you'll find your hormones start balancing. Like everything gets into a rhythm, you know? And a lot of us are not in our natural rhythm. And it's going to look different for everyone. But I truly believe like autoimmune illnesses, like the bottom line is a microbial fungal imbalance. We all have fungus and bacteria in our body. But when it becomes out of balance, traditional Chinese medicine talks more about this. I feel like traditional Chinese medicine is more on par with my beliefs in how autoimmune illness is with your body. It's more of like an underlying like repression of sorts, you know? Like for instance, hold on. Ugh. I don't like all the wateriness in the yogurt, so I'm trying not to get that. I know that's where like the protein and stuff is. I don't care. What was I saying? I forget. She's over here looking at me through my scooter. It's funny. I hate when I have the flash on because I don't like how it makes her eyes look red. What was I saying though? Regardless, plus, I forget what I was saying. Regardless though, you know, I've been saying, and I doubt I'm the first one to say this, but we are the first generation to be having this giant social experiment on how this junk food that we eat affects our body, you know? And people, generations before us didn't have like all this microplastics, processed food, and they had it, but it wasn't as normalized as well as it is now. Everything's fast paced, so fast food is, you know, there. And then even down to the psychology of fast food, where they have certain colors to make you just like want to eat it fast. And they even go down to like psychologically look at like how much food resistance there is. Like when you chew something, like how much resistance is there and how can we make it easier to chew? And that's probably why a lot of people who are autistic and stuff prefer safe foods like McDonald's and stuff like that, because the chew resistance is so much lower and they hit on like the sensory of the food. And a lot of, you know, neurodivergent people are sensory eaters. But on top of that, it also messes with their gut, and it messes with cravings. It messes with mood and fatigue, foggy headedness, forgetfulness, irritability, hormone fluctuations, etc. And we're the first like few generations, obviously like my generation and the newer ones, like the first few that are really getting this full view spectrum of this experiment, as you want to call it, if you could call it that, but just seeing how the modern food affects the body, you know, and we're seeing it. People are really sick. The good thing about Greek yogurt is it's full of natural good bacteria, so it helps fight the bacteria that's bad that builds up in your intestines and your gut. So it helps fight that and balance things out, and it soothes gut inflammation. Now, if you have an autoimmune illness, I will be launching like a tea blend and like a protocol and everything. This is what I did to get into remission. I'm trying to help people, so hopefully it'll work for someone. But if you are trying to do this as a result of like trying to get into remission as well from your autoimmune illness, if you're allergic to dairy, there's coconut yogurt, and that has the lactobacillus or whatever that is in here that helps, but this just has protein in it, so that's why I like it. Now this says millions of probiotics on it, which is great, but not all yogurt has probiotics. Sometimes it's heated so much to where there's no more good bacteria in it, Yoplait and stuff like that. So you'll see on the side of it, if it has like live cultures and stuff, it'll tell you. Ugh. Last scoop. Cheers. No, not for you. My beef is right above the camera. Now, I have found that gut issues correlate directly to inflammation. I notice when I eat something and it gives me the shits, my joints are not happy the next day. Same thing if I'm constipated. Now, I know that's TMI, but for people who experience chronic illness, I think it's important to be open like that, because it kind of gives you an idea of what to look for through things that I've looked for and found, you know. Avocados are really good for you. They're good for your liver and they're good for your gut. They're a natural anti-inflammatory, so they'll help soothe any gut inflammation or irritation. This one's kind of bad, so usually I eat more than that. This other one is more better, but this one must have been dropped or something. My dogs love avocado. Avocados are good for dogs. They're just really fatty, so once in a while as a treat. Happy holidays, you guys, by the way. And happy belated holiday from the last one. Thanks for eating with me. Now, these next 2 weeks are going to be really boring eat with me's because I think we have the Grinch fries coming up, and then we have the SpongeBob meal that I have to try, assuming that I can still get it. But other than that, it's going to be my basic meals for Eat With Me. But I figured I'll show you guys what I'm eating to get into remission and why I think it helps. Now, the stuff that I talk about is science-backed, but there's no proof. It's more of theory. It's my personal theory of why I think this is happening in my body. Could be different person by person, but what I do know is the meds we're on for autoimmune illnesses mess with the bacteria balance. And I'm not saying to get off meds or anything, but having a good gut health will help a lot. Look how pretty this avocado is. With getting your symptoms in line. And with everything now, it's like dopamine spike, dopamine spike, dopamine spike. So then if you're not getting a dopamine spike through food, you're getting it through social media. Both need to be monitored and taken in, what do you call it? In moderation. So at least if you have autoimmune illness, your system's already overactive, overinflamed. So I found that like learning meditation better and going on a really restrictive diet really helps me. Now, I know some people will think this is strict, but these are foods that I eat that don't trigger my inflammation. So this is my breakfast usually, like yogurt and a couple avocados, 1 or 2. Lunch, I'll eat egg fried rice, which I've eaten with you guys. Sometimes I'll have an avocado there. And then dinner, maybe a bean tostada with tomatoes, maybe chorizo and eggs with a tortilla, maybe a sweet potato, maybe salmon with asparagus. It depends on what's in my fridge, what I'm feeling. I have salmon fritters that are coming up that I got some crackers for. So we'll be making salmon fritters soon, and I love those. Those are nice because you can just freeze them and stuff. But I had to be really, really restrictive for a bit because I couldn't tell what was triggering me. But now I know what triggers me, and now I can kind of understand how to eat for my body now. And so we're seeing better results and getting better. And of course, 2 times a day I have my honey fermented garlic, which is like my medicine. So, and then I have tea, a very specific tea, which we will be selling that tea blend. End of January should be available. So that helped me get into remission. Happy to help others get into remission. If I can do it, you can do it. It's actually funny because I'm in this rheumatoid arthritis group, which I never thought of to join until like literally like a few weeks ago, which is so funny because I've had it my whole life and I've been on social media for how long? Anyway, it's interesting to me how many people in there have such a negative mindset of thinking remission isn't possible and stuff. It is. It is possible. I've been in remission a few times in my life. So it is possible. But diet plays heavily. And a lot of people think, oh, just eat healthy. They don't really know what healthy looks like. But it's like no sugar, you know, minimal dairy, minimal things that cause like dopamine spikes. You know, this makes the blood sugar nice and level. And no spikes and everything like that. I think truly people have forgotten what healthy eating looks like nowadays because of all of the crap that's able to be eaten. People think like the worst when people eat healthy and stuff, but it's hard to eat junk food after eating healthy for so long. A lot of people think you're suffering. Like, did I want to eat that yogurt? No. But I'm hungry, that has protein, and I feel satiated afterwards. Would I rather have a Big Mac in place of that? No. A Big Mac sounds disgusting right now. Chicken nuggets sound disgusting. Anything like that sounds disgusting right now. This food actually feels good. It's not just about taste. It feels good in my body. I don't feel inflamed afterwards or anything, so helps my mind be clear. Delicious. Then I have my tea here. There's a lot of ingredients in this tea that I'm trying to launch. It's got ginger, milk thistle, dandelion root, adzuki beans, licorice. It's got a lot in it, but it's really good for inflammation, really good for gut health, really good for hormone balance and just getting rid of like any water retention and stuff like that. Like, it's really good for you overall. It helped my knees were like ballooned up, helped them drain within like a month, and no more balloon knees after that. But yeah, that is what I eat for breakfast, and that's usually what my days look like for eating. Very, very strict. But it's so I can walk again. And finally I found something that supports my body. It's been like 2.5 years of me experimenting with my body, with food, figuring out what helps, what doesn't help, and figuring out the why of why does it help. You know, these things that do help, why do they help? And that's where a lot of people don't understand my journey, because I've been open about my illness on social media. But I've been trying to figure out like the ins and outs of it that maybe other people can't see. And that's where like I know what I say sounds woo-woo, and it's just a theory of mine, but I'm okay with saying these theories because down the line, it always seems like they come out with this thing that I've already said years ago. And I know it sounds crazy now, but I know years later down the road, I bet you someone's going to say something in regards to this. But I know what works for me, and I know if it works for me, it can work for other people, and that's where I want to help other people get into remission and stuff like that, so that way they're not struggling physically like I was either. And I can help people one by one. So we'll get more into that later, but this is what I eat for breakfast pretty much every day. I like having the same thing every day because it's reliable and I don't have to put much energy into like food fatigue where it's like, what, I don't know if that's the right word, but the one where like I don't have to plan all my meals, you know, I don't have to put the energy into that or anything. So that makes it easier for me. I know every day I'm going to eat some variation of this. And it's reliable, it's easy. I just go in the kitchen, grab a tub of grab the tub of yogurt, grab a couple avocados, slice them in half, and bring them into my room and eat and enjoy it and feel good for the day. So that's why breakfast is important. It's supposed to make you feel good, not make you feel sluggish and stuff for the day, right? But nonetheless, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this meal together. We'll have a few more eat with me's this week. I enjoy doing those with you guys, so I love connecting with people over food. Although we're not talking in real life, I always love eating a meal and chatting. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love doing that with friends. It's like if you're my friend, you know, like we go out to eat and do things. That's my kind of friendship. Just because I love eating and enjoying a meal with people I care about. So thanks for joining me on my meal today, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Have a good Monday. Take care of yourselves, hydrate and eat, and I will be seeing you guys tomorrow in some other kind of video. I don't know. Thanks for being here. I love y'all. Stay amazing and stay sexy.